Hey, welcome everyone to the Sketch Zone podcast. It's Carlos. Hello. It's been a hot second. That's why my camera's a little crooked, but we're fine. You guys, we're going to be talking to a very talented illustrator, animator, artist, all that good stuff. You guys, Dave Pryor's here.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
We don't have sound effects this time.
Oh, hang on. I got some. You guys
My
don't
whole
hear
soundboard is screwed.
I told you it's been a while.
This is hilarious.
It has been a while.
Knock
Hey,
off
Dave,
the
how's
dust.
it going?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Good.
You're
I'm,
welcome,
I'm
man.
glad you could come and hang out with us for a hot second.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
thanks.
fun. Before we have all this fun, I don't understand, man. This is why we can't take time off because things start. There we go. Hey, before we have fun with Dave, let's go ahead and welcome Jack Kasperzak.
Ooh, switching it up. I like it.
Yeah.
See, take some time off. You throw Charlie off the board. I like it. Hi, everyone.
Oh yeah, Charlie's here. Hello, Charles.
Wow.
Hey,
Thank you.
Charlie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's great. It's
There you
great.
go, here you
Liking
go.
this setup.
You're not even going to hear that, but everyone watching on YouTube is going to be able to hear that. So yeah, like I said before, it's been a hot second, but you guys, welcome to episode, I believe this is 207.
Woo.
I was going to do a quick,
That's crazy.
That is crazy. There's a lot of episodes.
yeah.
You're pretty awkward.
Mhm. Come on, computer.
Do you guys have an episode goal? Like, are you trying to hit a certain amount?
We just
No.
running.
100?
We just
We are
like to
running.
talk. We just like to talk.
I remember back before 100, we were like, "Oh man, what did we do for our 100th show?"
Oh, yeah,
100.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's 207, you guys. This is episode.
We tried to do
207.
like a Seinfeld thing where we had a whole bunch of people back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to
packed
have
house.
we tried to have a podcast about nothing.
Yes. It's working.
And we're on our 11th season.
Yeah. Just like Seinfeld.
We're at your welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, Kitchen Cat and Sleepy Roz. Welcome. Nice
Yeah,
to have
welcome,
you guys come and visit
Coming
again.
in.
So the world is falling apart. That's newsworthy.
You guys look like you're in good shape, though.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah,
I
not too
can't
bad.
complain. I'm doing
Healthy? Yeah.
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 Everything.
Not
I'm
too
t-
bad. Not too bad for
Keeping
you
it-
know all
keeping it
hell
together.
breaking loose. This is what this. Yeah, we make hell breaking loose look this good. Oh, Landon is here. What's up, buddy?
Welcome, Landon. Welcome.
So I'm
The
not
chat's
100%.
rolling in now. They're rolling in now. Yeah.
Yeah, and now that it's an hour earlier, everyone is like,
They're like, what? I'm
They
woke.
just-
Okay.
they just finished dinner. They just finished dinner. They're gonna come and
I mean, I did.
we hit. This show hits like a laxative.
Wow. Here we go. We're back. Cool.
Have you guys been noticing like technology is changing? It used to be fast, but now it's stupid fast. So, for example, Apple is changing to have. Hey, even Shiloh's here. What is going on? Did you guys miss us? Did you guys miss us?
I think it's the earlier time
I think
frame.
they did.
Yeah.
How long
Shadow's
has it been?
Yo.
3-4 weeks.
Yeah, about a month.
The last time we went live was June 18th.
Summer of '82.
With AMB. Yeah, in 1982.
That was a good year.
It's great.
But yeah, like Apple decided to announce that they're making their own processors. Canon camera came out with this beast of a camera. And then Sony said, hold my beer. They came out with a new camera that shoots like, what'd they say? 240
Oh, yeah,
frames
it's
a
crazy.
second at 4K, 10
But how much
bit,
does it cost though?
like 3,500. I want to say.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and it's still pretty affordable. I mean,
That's $250 a frame.
Yeah.
Check
So,
out the brain on Jack. Yes.
so do you actually need that many frames a second? Is that really in demand?
it depends
They
on what
tell
you're
us it
making.
is.
Yeah, if you're
I
if
mean,
you're
for
shooting
these
film,
guys
yeah.
that are shooting these guys that are shooting
Yeah.
like slow motion action shots, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Or
meet
even
nice-
like-
It's also kind of trendy, right? That seems to be like a thing on YouTube right now.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very much a thing. Yeah.
I mean, you got the boxer getting hit in the face.
Exactly.
You gotta get all the jiggle jaggles.
Even the pouring of the water. All
Hang on,
those
I have
like
to write
Exactly.
that down.
water balloon fights.
Mhm.
Hang on, note to self. Hang on. The Jiggle
Excuse me.
Jaggles.
Mhm.
The Jiggle Jaggles, are you putting that down?
Yeah. So yeah, like all kinds of stuff is happening.
Right.
Are we excited about that? Are we excited about like technology at neck break speed, at the cutting edge, the bleeding technology? Well, we don't
What are
want
you, an executive?
we don't want bleeding
Using all the
technology.
buzzwords today.
I mean, just make it work. I just want it to work, is all.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
Seamless. Get out.
synergy with the
Works.
bandwidth and the.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you get it to your house, you want it to like just turn on and work.
You open the box, it's already working.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Mhm.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
So it's saying hello even before you got the box open, like a creepy like
It's just
prisoner.
saying, Jack, open me.
Hello.
Please, open.
Help me out of here.
The box is moving.
We're creepily approaching that movie Her.
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm about done with humans.
Speaking of that, on artistic wise, I just read something today, and I posted it in our like artist chat on our Slack at work. It's an artist or a programmer / artist or whatever you want to call them, using Unreal Engine, right? There's a Instagram called Rachel, and basically
Oh, yeah.
it's AI, and it's been made totally in Unreal AI machine learning, and every day it posts a new image from Unreal, in like the designy, Instagram, 3D designer type of deal. It's like shiny boxes or squares. It looked really nice. It's lit. It's ray traced. It's called Rachel, and I think it's like Rachel's not real. I'll find what it is, and then I'll let you guys know. 'Cause I'm gonna pull up the link. But it's really cool. It looks like what any other motion designer or any other like artist who's posting to Instagram looks like, and they've been doing it every day since like March or something like that. And they said it's gonna keep going as long as the computer that's running Rachel stays online. And he's making a statement about how art is making these designs based on posting to Instagram, and you're taking the human element out, so the AI is supposed to show that that's easy to do. What's hard to do is have thoughtful design and interpret the world around you, and then have intricate design based off of that. So the artist is trying to tell you to put the human element back in design rather than just making pretty images to post. So it's kind of cool, kind of interesting. I'll let you guys know what the official Instagram thing is, but I know it's called Rachel.
I would love
And
to.
does she follow other people too?
I don't know if he's having follow other people here. I found
Leave
it right
nice
here.
little comments for folks.
Here it is. It's called.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
called,
does she
so
cyberbully people?
It's like,
right?
I mean, if she's machine learning, she's going to learn to bully people.
So it's Instagram.com/Rachel Lick. So Rachel RACHAEL LIC. The website that goes along with this is loadandland.com/Rachel is not real. So I can put it. I don't know if I can put this in the chat. I probably won't let me do links.
If you want, go ahead and send it through Skype, and then I'll post it.
There it is.
You
And I'll
should be
send
able
it.
to. I gave you, believe it or not,
Yeah,
I gave you.
It's right. So check that out. So it looks like he gave me the power. Did he give you the power, Jack? I don't know.
I
if he did
got
that.
the power.
But like, it's there. Check it out. I just posted it in the chat. follow it. I'm following it now, and she is following people. And then it's weird because he gave her.
It
He
doesn't
gave her a
look
name.
like it doesn't look like it came
She's
through,
curious.
Charlie. Go ahead and send it to me. I'll post it.
Oh, straight to you. The chat at for. Okay, I'll find that for you. But yeah,
Cool.
I'll send it
Is
over.
it like tubes and cylinders and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a different one every day. You know.
I didn't know if I followed the right person. I was like,
It's weird because
Robot art.
he gave her a name, Rachel Leary, or Leary, Lery.
so hang on. So this artwork is all completely generated basically randomly. Well, not
Yeah,
randomly,
it-
but by
yeah,
a series.
yeah.
Okay.
By AI that was written inside of Unreal. So this is
And
all
what is it?
Unreal.
What is it learning?
I haven't read that. The website's pretty long. I read like half of it today. I don't know. He didn't go too in depth in his algorithm, but like he says they learned it based on different design trends that he finds on Instagram, and then uses Unreal's ray tracing technology to create imagery based on the latest design trends that it's learning.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. And usually the cool part about this, I thought, is like these images are made in Unreal, which look like these should be made in like Cinema 4D or somewhere.
Yeah,
like
it does.
designer. It's kind of cool. Find my chat. I'll send it to you. I promise.
So
But
now,
cool. Yeah, I thought that was cool based on what we were just talking about. So
And there's
I found the
probably
Instagram.
people
I'm
following
gonna-
her. You know, they
What'd
don't
you say,
even know
Dave?
that she's a They probably don't even know that she's an AI. You know.
Right. It's funny. Yeah.
she only has 1,140 followers.
Right.
They're all robots.
I think that I see some like I design. That's a famous C4D guy. CG Remote is pretty famous. I think it's slowly starting to get. Brandon Webb is a famous experiential designer. I think it's slowly Philip Luck is a really famous guy. You know, the people that are following are pretty influential. Some of these guys on here. But I think as people start to figure out what this is and go to the other website, I for sure think it'll start catching on, you know.
So
now-
now my question to you is this: at what point do artists need to start getting nervous about not finding work?
See, that's what I'm saying.
we
That's what
already
the-
hungry.
That's what the website said too. Like the website was saying that like it's easy to make an image like this, but the human element of it is like how these images are created in terms of having thoughtful design behind it, not just a bunch of shiny spheres. So I don't think the way the guy puts it that made it, he doesn't think that like artists per se are in jeopardy. It's just more so of like the culture that we in terms of how we're making art just to post it up.
Right.
Chat.
But still, like I know that Google has, I don't know if it's Google Images or something, but they've been working on this thing where you can draw a really rough idea of an item, and then Google Images will find that illustration for you.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That's already been made and blah 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 blah. Do we even care? I mean, do we? I don't know. What's that? What's that hashtag that keeps getting people in trouble on Twitter? Hashtag learn to code.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've seen this on other threads. Lately I've made myself a part of a bunch of different like email lists, big huge email lists, and then this same conversation was coming up because, as well as Google, there's a couple other people or a couple other companies that were like looking to do automated stuff, and this seems to come up a lot in terms of like among artists in terms of like whether or not we should be worried or whatnot, or how much is this like AI learning going to affect art in 10 years. I mean, I'm seeing all type of like amazingly well written deepfake apps But like, I don't download them now for fear some other country spying on our stuff anyway. But like, there's been a lot of good ones. I saw one where they put Elon Musk's face on a Tekashi 6ix9ine video, and it looks amazing. And it's an app. It's an app you can download right now on your computer and on your phone, and it looks really good. I didn't download the app, but like, it's really good. I was like researching the app a little bit, and I'm like, that is crazy that it's just an app on your phone. You know, how long did that used to take guys to do in the movies? You know, it's just like crazy.
I don't know. We have to, someone in the chat, take a look and see how long it took to make that wonderful movie Face Off.
Right? It's just, I should find, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, find it. Elon Musk deepfake with Tekashi. It's like, it's ridiculous. I was like taken back.
Oh, Elon. Yeah, I don't know. Every day that passes, I get upset that I spent that much money on an art education when all I had to do was go to Google Images.
A little more simple. See, you made it. You just with the hot
yourself,
takes,
Jack.
aren't you?
No, I was waiting to see Jack's defeated face.
All about his hot takes today.
You're muted if you're going to say something.
Oh, sorry.
There you are.
I was saying that's pretty cynical.
Cartoons don't make themselves, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
That's true.
I saw that one Bugs Bunny where it draws itself, and Daffy Duck has to try and get over the artists.
Yeah.
So I think you're wrong.
Let's go down that path. Dave, you're an animator. Did you always want to be a cartoonist?
Well, when I went to school, I thought I'd be either in live action film or advertising. And that's where I just started taking animation courses.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden I'm kind of like, well, if I'm in the animation course, I don't need to worry about all these other guys in the live action course to get their act together to help me make this movie. And since I already knew how to draw somewhat, and I could just kind of be on my own and make these animated bits, that took over, and I kind of abandoned the film stuff after that.
Yeah.
So it was probably about senior year I realized that I really enjoyed that, and then started to really concentrate on it.
What school did you go to?
I went to Columbia in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's it. Well, yeah, that's a really good film school. And then so was that always?
And my graduation was like circa 1993. So this is a while ago.
Okay. Yeah, which is fine.
That's
some
like,
of us,
that was like
some of us
like 4
rack
years
up
ago,
some
right?
miles. It happens.
They're starting to get racked up. And I was just thinking about it as we was coming out here. It's like, well, how long have I been working in art and animation? So 28 years now. That's
nice.
That's not too bad, for something you went to school for,
Are you
For something that our parents said you'll never make a living in.
Yeah.
They were holding their breath, like
They're still holding.
It can work. It can work if you're dedicated.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah. So then once you went to Columbia, and then you started studying film, and you got that the bug for the animations and stuff. Do you find a lot of similarities between the two?
Live action and animated?
Yeah.
Well, I think that in filmmaking, or I think that it did do me well in terms of what I was going to go into. And if I didn't take the film, who knows if I would have tried animation? I might have just been, marketing or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and the thing that gave me the bug for it was in high school, I won a video award for a film, which was super hokey, but it was kind of like, hey, I won this award. I must be good at something. So,
Yeah. Stick it right here.
and then that was just that was a little push I needed to like investigate, like, well, where would I go to college and take this further? So,
and I think that situation that you just described, I think it gets overlooked so often, where sometimes that's all it takes is a little encouragement, or just that little bit that makes you say, oh yeah, that was nice, that felt pretty good, let's do that again. Right.
right. So try to repeat some elements of success or grow on what I felt like I had already learned in high school days. And not too many high schools had a film program, but mine actually did, and it was nice that they offered that. There was even a little bit of animation that was taught there, where they did, clay, stop motion type stuff.
Cool.
And that was an elective you could take instead of one of your English courses, or you could elect to take that film course.
Whoa. That's an incredible deal. Do you take English or do you take film? But like, wait a minute, is that a trick question?
Yeah, it might not have been English. There was something that was equivalent. You could take this or that, and film was the one that a lot of people went into.
That's cool. Hey, Dave Atsy is here. I don't know. We should leave more often because even Dave is here. Other Dave. We're gonna call him.
Hey,
Other Dave because we got a new Dave now. Dave.
Dave from down under.
He said, and Dave Atsy says, "Hey, Sketch Zoners, chat and Dave, love your work, dude."
Thank you.
How cool is that? Like, I mean, from your all your handles, I think you and I are, we're operating at the same mileage, right? Coming from when we were kids to now, like, how cool is it that literally someone from Australia just said, "I love your work, Dave"?
I think that's amazing. Yeah, just in this world we live in where anyone can be there seeing it at any time of day.
Yeah.
And that, you guys know this, it's like you could do a post, and then suddenly there's people from around the world seeing it seconds later and commenting and whatever. Yeah. I mean, that floors me every time, that that's actually possible.
I even get the ones that say, "When are you going to realize that you suck and quit?"
That's terrible.
I've gotten that one a couple times.
You stop looking at them comments. Out of those comments, Carlos.
I'm like, I think
you're like, "Mom, leave me alone."
It's so true.
Told you stop posting.
Yeah. Get a real job. Get out of my basement. No. That's really cool though. So then let's go from you just graduated. What was your first job out of Columbia?
Yeah, my first job was working on the Warner Brothers cartoons. I think the first cartoon I actually worked on was the Tiny Toons Christmas special.
Nice.
And I remember my first scene was one with Luke Perry in it. And to remember what the other characters, Buster and Babs, I'm sure, were in it or something too. But and so we worked on those for a while. Perry. Yeah. So the studio I worked for in Chicago actually did full animated episodes all the way through ink and paint, or cleanup. Sent things out for ink and paint, and then filmed everything back in Chicago on cells. So
what studio was that? They used to be in Chicago.
Star Toons.
Star Toons, okay.
Star Toons. I'm trying to remember if I know them. I don't know if I do.
So they were in operation up until I want to say 2000.
Yeah.
2001-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's nice. You didn't even have to like worry about or make the decision. That even back then, after leaving Columbia, do I have to make the switch? Do I have to make the trek across the country or whatever?
Yeah.
You're fortunate enough to get started.
Super rare opportunity. And when I first started, I worked under some of the guys who are still working for Warner Brothers today. Tony Cervoni, who just directed Scoob. I worked under him as he was doing some of the episodes. And so here I am, like straight out of school and, working under these guys who were pretty much, fresh-faced guys at the same time, and super rare that any animation like that was going on in the Chicago area. So always felt very fortunate about that. And the fact that they were doing a show called Animaniacs, which seemed really fun at the time.
Yeah.
And to the reason I got the job was because I was in school under the director, John McClanahan, who was teaching at the school to try to recruit new folks.
Oh, wow.
So
cool.
it was kind of like from there to going straight into the studio.
Mm.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
How
That's so awesome.
Yeah, like opportunities. You have to put yourself in place for opportunities to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not often that you live in Chicago working on animation, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, like there's not a lot of animation studios. There's a lot of, experiential, like Charlie does, a lot of multimedia, a lot of advertising. I'm like you, Dave, like I was going through my creative schooling and I was getting prepared to, to go into advertising or whatever. Never really thought of 2D animation. 3D animation, we can work that in there. But 2D animation in Chicago is just not heard of. So it's really cool that you were able to jump on something like that.
Yeah, very rare opportunity where a guy who worked at Hanna-Barbera in Australia came to Chicago and said, "I'm just going to set up camp here and I'm going to make it work in Chicago."
Yeah.
Wow.
And he did so up until for 12 years straight, which is a pretty good run for any studio. Yeah.
Oh. So then how accurate was your training at Columbia compared to what was happening at the Startoons?
Well, John would teach at the school how to clean up work and the basics of animation. He was the most in tune with commercial work, whereas most of the work that was being done there was, they were encouraging you to be experimental.
Yeah.
So it was really rare to see someone that could do production quality work and show you how to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
And my hand, it took me like an hour probably to do one cleanup, for the assignments. And I actually had to work into that class too, because his class would book up really fast. Huh. But I was a teaching assistant and I made it so that I could actually TA during his course and just take all the same lessons.
That's a good move.
And so that's the best I could do. And so then I was able to, shake his hand and say, "Hey, I'm interested in what you might have opportunity wise." So that's how it started.
That's neat. And then when you were in at Columbia, how deep did they go? Did they teach you about storytelling and storyboarding and all that stuff, or did they just focus on the actual like mechanics of it?
I think there was still an attitude back in those days of like animation is a great hobby, and just kind of find your artistic vision to a certain extent. And all those courses they had instructors for all of them. So you went through a storyboard class and you would put together boards and all that stuff. And then they would have animation 1 and 2, which would get more advanced about the techniques that you would learn. But like I was mentioning, the commercial part was few and far between. So, and it is a ton of work. I remember some of my first days were sleeping under my desk to try to make quota. And the way we would get paid was footage wise. So you're trying to get paid by the foot. You got a sheet telling you how much a cleaned up scene is worth versus an animated scene and all that.
Yeah.
And as an assistant, you're like the low guy on the totem pole and you have the most work to do and you're getting paid the least.
Yeah.
So some weeks were very much like, well, I got to make that minimum. So you're just doing whatever it took. And then of course we're working on shows that have many characters in them. So you get this show and it's like, all the Animaniacs are running in a circle around this other character. So now that's the scene you've got to clean up.
Oh,
and obviously those challenges are you really learn with a painful hand. And it teaches you how to draw fast, and you try to get all your bad drawings out.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was really a fun time, and it's just being able to say that you worked on those types of shows. I knew at the time was like, wow, it's great that that's even possible. And it was around the time that those Warner Brothers stores were starting to become popular in malls and things like that. So very early on, you felt like, oh, hey, I'm actually working for a real studio, and really doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Describe that for us. So yeah, it's exciting. Like graduating from college is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But what was it like when you walked into that studio for the very first time?
Well, you see everyone, you got the actual scene folders, and there's scenes going on, and people are doing their work, and everyone's got a disc, and they're doing it, professionally.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're just looking and saying, well, you can learn from anybody in here practically. And that's what you do. You get your scene from your animator, and you're just, talking to them about the way that they go about doing it. And I made mistakes very early on, where one specific issue where we were doing a commercial, and in order to get this one fish's eyes perfectly round, I was using a circle template. And I can remember how angry the animator would get of like, you just use the circle template, because there's subtlety in, even though it looks like a perfect circle, there's subtlety in all of that.
Yeah.
So you learn the hard way by just trying to make things perfect, but you're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. I think
once you got good, how long? Sorry, Carlos. So once you got good, how long did it take you to clean up one? I'm wondering, because I heard you say something about minimum, and I was like, well, once you get into the groove, 3-4 months in, 5-6 months in, how long would it take you?
That's a good question. I was trying to move from assisting to animation work or posing work, which would typically be work in more in your favor. But I did advance the level. I can't really remember how many years exactly. And there was turnover, because they would, after we finished out our first season of Animaniacs, other people had left the company, and we're kind of on more of a tighter group of folks working together at that point. And I was one of the fortunate ones that got to stay on and do whatever it was that was kind of coming our way, small commercials here and there. And then eventually other Warner's work would come in when they would start a new season, things like that.
Okay.
And then they'd grow up a little bit, but it was never really a huge studio. It was like maybe like 30 people, maybe 40 max. So nothing. Oh, wow. It never got that huge.
Were you the studio? Did you guys do like Lucky Charms and stuff like that? Commercials for Lucky Charms and maybe Kellogg's?
That was Calabash.
Calabash.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember when I was back home in Chicago, I remember going to a few talks, and they were showing off some of the animation that they were doing, and I thought that's I just know Startoons from somewhere. I just can't figure out exactly where it is. So we'll keep talking.
Yeah, Startoons was actually on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
Calabash was right in the city. They moved up north now. They still do commercial work.
Yeah.
And so I would drive from, I live close to the city, so I drive all the way south to 80, which goes into Indiana there.
Wait a minute.
Homewood, Illinois.
Okay. Dave, did you ever work with a guy named R.J. Renola?
Don't think so.
I think.
Although it rings a very slight bell.
Yeah. I think he worked there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, RJ went to school also, but then he ended up eventually, after I got my gig at EA, he left. I think he left there and came to EA. But
what year would that have been?
I would say, probably 03, 04 or 05, maybe.
Yes, they were very close.
Way gone.
Then. Yeah.
I feel like when you said South Side, he was driving. When I heard that, I was like, he was driving. Maybe intern there at one point early on, because he graduated before me, So, but maybe.
Well, Yeah, and you had to go to where the work was, pretty much. You know, you couldn't
Yeah.
just send your scene over the internet to anybody.
Right. And
Yeah,
just
this is
knew-
back. This is back when the internet still sounded like
I mean,
or-
even the
Yeah.
even the freelancers had to drive in and pick up their scenes. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what when you said where it was on 80. I just remember for some reason I remember maybe that's where you worked beforehand.
Mhm.
Until you finally left, but like the drive ring the bell like because it was pretty far.
Yeah.
Coming from a burbs or something.
So then, how long were you at Startoons?
Let's see. I started in '92, which was a year before I graduated, and then I went back to school to finish up my film that I was doing there as like my final year film, and then started back up in '93 again. So it was like one summer left, then came back the next summer,
Oh,
and then worked there in 2001. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, Tobias is here too. Dave! Exclamation mark. Love your watercolors on Instagram. Been following your posts for a while.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and isn't Tobias? Where's Tobias? Isn't he in Germany? Again,
You can ask them.
Tobias, where are you?
Tobias, where are you from?
Where are you currently located?
Where are you living?
So then, and
Australia.
right, probably. So then, Startoons, you still loved it there. Everything was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean, we really enjoyed our time there, regardless of the quotas and the stress of like getting enough cash and stuff. But most of us were pretty young. It's not like we had huge mortgages or anything at the time, so we just made do. None of us wanted to lose our jobs. We wanted to keep doing that as long as we could.
Yeah.
And then when they finally did close, I wanted to stay local because my family's here and everything.
Right.
So I did some freelance work until I got the job where I am now at Scientific Games, which was WMS Gaming up until this point. So, but in the middle, I would do Calabash work, or I would do. There was a small startup where I met Bob Rossetto, which I know you've interviewed here before. So
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Yeah, and
See,
he's the guy who taught me Flash work. So that's when I wanted to make a new. I wanted to make a new film, and he's the guy that actually showed me how he went about using that software.
Yeah.
And I just wanted a cheap ink and paint software.
Yeah.
And so did some tests and it's like, yeah, I can actually use this for don't need to buy Toon Boom or whatever it was at the time, which I didn't want to spring for.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob is a good dude, man. And if you're going to learn
Yeah, I love
animation
Bob.
in Flash, that's the dude to go to. Like,
Yeah.
I tell this story every time Bob's name comes up. I'm like, I was running the Flash user group. And I would go to Bob and Bob is like, "Hey, let me show you something." And he would like bring up all these different cartoons that he's working on. I'm like, I got to quit this user group thing and get on, like, go hang out with Bob a little more often. Yeah. So then your current job, well, are you currently, you said that you're working with Scientific Games. Are you there or are you contracting with them?
No, I work there. I'm their art director over there.
Oh, okay, cool. And then,
So I knew it was only a matter of time to find some place you work where you know people. It's so small. They're cool.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
had a couple people from Scientific on here.
yeah, we've had Bob, we've had,
Roger Ewing.
Tyrus used to be on here. Didn't Tyrus used to work
Back-
over there? Back when it was WMS. Yeah,
WMS,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roger Ewing for a while before he left.
Mm-hmm. Right. Javier, who's been on your show. a few
Javier,
times.
and then
Yeah, we don't talk
Travis.
about Javier. We don't talk about Javier. He said that he doesn't like Garrett popcorn, so I'm upset with him.
Oh, how can you not like that?
Oh my god!
Exactly. Next time you see him, you let him know something went wrong during his birth.
Yeah. Wow. So to bring this back, and then the last person was Travis Overstreet.
Oh yeah. I
Oh
love
yeah,
Travis,
yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be.
that's a lot of
Thank
people,
you, COVID. But Travis is now in San Francisco, and we keep every time we start making plans for him and his wife to come to wine country, something happens and they shut the whole thing down.
So this is all your fault.
It's Travis's. It's Travis's fault.
It's Travis.
Because let me tell you why. I was living in wine country and everything was fine. Travis moved out here and the bottom fell out. You see what I'm saying? Travis.
Get you.
Travis, go back home.
Yeah. So cool. It's great.
Yeah. And then Scientific Games, their specialty is
slot machine games. They do online games and land-based games. Land-based
Really?
is where we really got most of the start. So, and that's the division I still work in. So a digital division, there's a whole group that does, like lottery cards and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, this is like thousands of people doing, gaming content.
And what is land base? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, when you go to Vegas or when you go to the
Oh,
casino.
okay. So inside.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the machines are actually built. We have new machines coming out every year. And, we work with all the licensors for all the licensed content that goes through there. So, there's like hundreds of games produced a year. Many that go through various divisions. Like, so there'll be a group in Vegas, groups in Australia, groups in Reno. And we all have different, groups of teams that produce the games that go out.
Yeah. And then I did a project last year where I learned a little bit about your industry, a little bit, because we did a big, huge like AR project for one of your big governing bodies that like test all your games, GLI.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So like they were just for their booth, they were trying to show off what their big testing facility was without really showing it. But like we did this huge like basically AR tour where you look around the room and then there were slot machines and how they were testing them, and they kind of try to talk about their process. So I was like it's very interesting on how strenuous that testing is and how they like ping pong, testing and have servers all over the world that they can like, so if they want to test something on the floor at a certain casino somewhere else and like Dubai or somewhere, they're able to do that. It was very interesting,
And obviously, there's a lot of money going through this whole deal, so it's got to be very secure, very regulated.
Government regulated, yeah. So it's interesting. It's an interesting industry.
And I'll tell you guys, when I started at the company, because it wasn't a narrative, job which I was used to working in, where there's stories and things like that.
Right.
And now the whole story is about just telling people like that they're winning the game and communicating that. And there are a lot of animated bonuses and things that go through this. But I seriously thought, and it was much more primitive when I started, I thought I'd be there 2 months or so, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I was looking for anything else, but it's just like, not thinking that it would be there for the long haul. So I'm very surprised how much I really did enjoy it and how much, it's been fun working there as long as I have.
Yeah. And it's always interesting, too, that you being a classical trained animator and being an animator and now art director, it's interesting to understand. I have other buddies that work at like Stern Pinball and stuff like that. And I'm always wondered with you guys in this industry is like, how do you manage the amount of animations that you put on the screens if somebody's supposed to be looking at a certain thing to win a hasn't it all transitioned to like, they're all nice LED screens now at this point. So like, it's like a weird balance, in terms of like, how do you art direct something like that in order to like not do too much, take away.
I mean, there is so much content to produce. When you bring up these screens, they're just like all types of formats, and they're different shapes and sizes and LEDs and like, full video screens and 4K and all the rest. So there's a lot of work for a lot of folks, and we do employ a lot of the Chicago artists to make that stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Sorry, I was trying to share.
So when we
work. I was trying to share.
Yeah, when we get
work
back to, thank you guys. When we get back to normal conditions, you should can take a trip, I could show you around the
for sure.
facility and you can see a little bit more.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Because you guys recently moved, right? Or a couple years ago now, right?
We did. We had a building up in Roscoe Village area, and now we are right by the Merchandise Mart in downtown.
Yeah, I used to live by your Roscoe Village place, right across the street from Hot Doug's. That place was legit.
Nice.
Hot Dogs.
Yeah.
So Dave
I love
Atsy
it.
says kind
I
of
love
like,
this animation.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Gerbil, the gerbil. Oh, bless his heart. He's really trying.
Let me see if
I
I
know,
can
you could-
share my screen. And
Is mine not sharing?
Yeah, Jax is sharing.
I can see your camera, not necessarily your
It doesn't show on
your
the
screen share. Yeah.
No worries. With your Instagram, is this a way that you keep your classical steels fresh?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, it's just fun to keep everything going. On a daily basis, having
Right.
something new to work on.
And what are you doing your pencil test in now? That we're seeing on Instagram here.
A few of these, I think most of the ones you just looked at were all Calipeg, and we were talking a little earlier how much
nice.
rough animator as well.
Yeah.
Those are both the two I keep ping ponging between. And that octopus guy, he's part of this latest July challenge that I'm still working to kind of finish. I think the deadline's like tomorrow.
Nice.
So it's kind of nice that they're posting those types of challenges that give people an opportunity to kind of come together and put something together.
Yeah.
And kind of rally behind the app that they're trying to make for people to work. And I mean, you guys know this. It's great to just like lie in bed and now you can just kind of animate and sketch wherever you are. So
yeah,
and this
we
really
like Calipeg around here for that stuff. Yeah, the guys, Jack and Carlos, are really taking a liking and really been using it a lot. So it's kind of amazing seeing how it takes off. I like watching the life of it now. See more and more people using it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I was just basically doing a lot of digital illustration before, and now that the animation apps have started to surface, like this year is all about just doing the animations, instead of the illustrations. Yeah.
Yeah. It probably feels like, oh, this feels good to get back into this and like knock the dust off at first, and then you start really wheels start turning again. It's like riding a bike.
So at Scientific Games this year, we started what's called the SG Animation Club, which is meant to pull people together and talk about animation because we love animation. And just come up with little projects to do to keep us motivated. And so when you have this little, not a deadline, but like another group, you kind of want to keep going at it and see what you can learn next and bring it and talk about it with other people. Having a nice group pushing you along helps you to always want to share. And of course, there's always the online community that's fun to share with too.
Yeah. We always talk about here on the show the importance of networking and getting into like groups, and we tell people all the time that there's so many Facebook groups, there's so many, like, I think I've been a part of like 3 or 4 of them in the last like month or so that popped up for different game art and stuff like that. And now that you have stuff like Discord, now you can have a fully organized like Discord that has different sections and different rooms that you can go in and talk to people. If I only want to talk about lighting, or if I only want to talk about sculpting or digital sculpting, or there's animation groups, and stuff like that. I'm finding Slack groups now that like, it's like when you get into a group like that, like you said, it kind of pushes you a lot more. So it's really nice.
Do we know of any Slack channels specifically for 2D animators?
The ones that I belong to are like work focused, but I'm not part of any really
online
like serious
ones.
group one on. Yeah.
So then you have to look. I mean, you have your major, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones that we talked about in the past might have like Discords and like Slacks now, especially Discord. I see a lot of people jumping on the Discord. It's a really nice free app. It's pretty light to have on your computer, and like you can literally have hundreds of servers that like are really nice on the left side of the app that you can just jump back in. And like first it was like more of a gaming thing, and now I can slowly see my Discord like fill up with like art, which is kind of cool. Even if I bought a plugin or bought a like if I'm doing something with Blender, I find out they have a Discord, I add it immediately and then jump in there and introduce, and it's kind of nice. So it's really cool. If you guys aren't looking for these type of groups, they're really cool. If you want some, we could start posting some, tell you about them. It's really good.
There we go. I think we can start showing Dave's work now.
Nice.
There we go. Oh, and just to let you guys know, being completely like, if you guys can still hear me, please let me know. But Dave is also part of the Calipeg beta test team.
Okay,
so
cool.
if we sound like we are crushing real hard on Calipeg, it's because we love Calipeg.
Or
If
we
it was
want it to be
trash-
the best it can be. We want
you want it to be really
have
good.
all the features. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was trash, I don't think we would be using it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just
Was
wanted
it-
to
well,
be
you-
I just wanted to be clear to people because
Yeah.
I've been reading through some of their feedback on iTunes, and it's not good, not fair. We'll say not fair. But
You got to give them a chance. I mean, they're new.
Right,
They're
small team.
it's
You can-
4 people.
I think you can tell based on like when you can find a group that wants feedback from the users.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the show with Benjamin on here, and obviously he's very excited about it, and wanting to definitely make the best thing he can.
Yeah.
So that's the best we can do is just shoot it to them straight of what we like and don't like, and then they can take all that feedback and pull it together. And
Exactly.
I'd say out of the gate, very very impressive start to what we know is going to just keep being added to.
Yeah.
You mean
What are some
outside
things?
look-
What are
like,
some things that you would like maybe pressure them into adding?
So we talked audio, right? Audio is a thing.
Audio, yeah, that's a really good one. I know that
Yeah.
they've been testing that stuff out, trying to get something.
I'm ready for that.
Same.
is that what do you mean by audio? Is that just you guys being able to put in a simple
Like
audio track?
just drop in an audio track so
Sure.
you can lip sync to it or just animate to it.
Cool.
Yeah. They just in an earlier version they made it possible to import video, which is extremely helpful.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can rotoscope easy now.
Can I ask you
Rotoscope.
guys? Can I ask you guys about the camera tool? I haven't played with it yet.
I haven't played with it yet either.
Is there a
Camera
camera tool
tool.
in it?
Uh,
I know that there's one in Rough Animator, but I didn't. They haven't said anything about it. At least you guys tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember it.
I'd have to see, and I don't have my iPad anymore. Because I do. I handed it in because I busted the screen a couple days ago doing my last video for youtube.com/coconut justice.
Who was that? Who
Wow.
was saying that?
What man was that?
It's my self or whatever. It doesn't matter.
I thought that was maybe a slight Homer Simpson like taking over.
Yeah,
the body.
it was a little bit. Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
little twang, little Homer twang.
Ooh, little coconut justice there.
Okay, so we're looking at this gerbil going around in circles. This is adorable.
It's so cool.
Absolutely adorable.
You got to do the gerbil that's doing the pull-ups.
Oh yeah, we did that one a
That's-
couple. We did that one
Like
a couple
it's
times. There it is
these
right there.
these little loops that I would just die with some audio in there. I could
Yeah.
just totally see it. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Oh yeah. So I might be talking too much.
Well, stop. Man. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
If you
'Cause
think so,
I feel
you are.
like you are.
Yeah. Because I just remembered the
Well,
last.
don't say it.
Well, no. It's not. It's not anything about the tools. It's more that I think I'm sharing too much because I remember the last Calipeg I used was the beta because I wanted to do a video, but then I cracked the screen on my on my iPad, and today I had to take it in to get fixed. So yeah, I haven't been able to play with Calipeg all that much lately because I've been super busy doing all kinds of other stuff. But
Well, they did just drop their new update, which has a few new features. So
yeah, 1.5.
always nice to get new stuff.
Yeah. What is your go-to drawing app?
Procreate,
Yeah.
pretty much over Photoshop now these days, too.
Can we talk about that real quick? Can we talk about how close I am to not being on the Creative Cloud platform anymore?
I mean, we use it for work, so it's pretty consistent. But
Yeah.
if I'm going to do my free time art, it's pretty much wherever I want to do it at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first. If you guys don't know this, Calipeg has animation challenges for, is it the month or the week, or do we know?
Well, Calipeg's only done 2 so far, and
Yeah.
the first one was 1 month, and this last one with Travis Blaze supplied artwork, they gave us 2 months for that.
Okay. Yeah, because it's going
Although
to
I've
take
only
me...
been doing it the last few days. Like I started okay, it's July 25. I can start this now and see if I can crank something out. I procrastinate too, so.
Remember, you get paid by the foot, so.
That's right.
Get on it.
I only get 6 paychecks. What the heck?
Working for footage is
Yeah. I had a conversation with Travis about that. He's like, "What do you think? This is going to go for the Calipeg challenge?" I was like, "Bro, you're a Disney level animator. What are you trying to scare people?" Like, he had
I give
this.
him credit for.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he did a whole turnaround. You can see him from different angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
And the trick is, it's to get into character. You got to really get into it and like draw that character over and over until you get as comfortable as he was.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I mean, it's a great exercise regardless.
Yeah,
people just
I
doing
agree.
this. And,
I just like giving Travis a hard time.
It was very nice of him to offer that and be part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're a glutton for punishment and you want to draw Travis Blaze dragons, check out Calipeg. Dave Atsy says, once they added text option, I had everything I need to drop Photoshop 100% Procreate. Yeah,
Really?
I agree.
You dropped it, Dave, 100? Wow, okay.
The text was a big deal.
I just wish they had a desktop app.
Well,
Just both.
Do you just prefer the desktop work situation?
In general, I don't do a lot of like 2D animation or like illustration that much, but I do appreciate how good the app is and feel like it would just go if there was like a desktop app and there was a feature for you to be able to like talk between the two or whatever, so that because the mobile part of you being able to do it anywhere is great, but imagine if you could do it both, because then studios I think will start to like adopt it even more, because like there's no real reason not to if you can be out at lunch still doing stuff and then just send it straight back to your desk, to your workspace. That's how I think about it.
these
I
cartoons.
mean, that's kind of coming with the new iPad updates.
Yeah.
And that's what Apple is going to be working towards with their new processors. They're making it to where you can run iPad apps on your desktop and vice versa. So so imagine.
Yeah, I guess I'm cool with that too. I guess I'm cool with that too. Yeah, 'cause that sounds good.
Yeah, but imagine, like, this is the one thing I was like, if I had an alternative to animate, I could be done. But
Oh,
right now, I'm just way too lazy of an animator to not animate and animate.
Animate's great as well. I mean, that is my go-to desktop animation
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah,
And
me too.
that is what, yeah, if an iPad version of something where you could have embedded symbols, vector based content,
Yeah.
which seems like it could be a really smart move because it seems like it would be less heavy on the system even if it was
Yeah.
vector. But
I'm thinking.
I am not a programmer, so couldn't say for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's this stuff here that made me think
Seems like it should be a
Dave-
T-shirt for my daughter.
Dave is a real deal.
How long do one of these little loops usually take you?
I'll spend a few days on it to maybe, on and off throughout a week, or if it's more complex, a couple weeks. Try not to necessarily rush it. So like this guy was done in Adobe Animate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'd like to, something like this would have been maybe like 2 days, We got the little audio track and stuff. And then here I'm just kind of showing the, the trick of the rotation. But I did a long form film, which was 3 minutes, and I spent like 5 years on and off doing it. When I was learning Flash, it was like my reason to learn Flash and to use an ink and paint program.
Yeah.
And now that the internet is so like, short form, people want to see an illustration or a little animation and keep moving on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever would do a long form film again. It's kind of a nice idea to think that maybe there'd be something and I have a good story to tell.
Yeah.
But it is very satisfying just do a quick little something or other. It's humorous or, just makes someone smile. And I think that's when you're looking at online content nowadays, you're just looking for something that that you can connect with or that, triggers you in some emotional way.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
And is the whole thing being drawn in Animate also? Or are you ingesting frames from somewhere
If
else?
I am working in, whatever program I'm working in, I'm not jumping around. So if I'm working in Animate, it's pretty much all in Animate.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I've done a paper sketch where I'm like, okay, I got to keep that as my basis, then I'll bring it in. And then in the apps for like Calipeg or Rough Animator, all of that is just drawn in the app.
Right.
And unless I want to do a background or something, then maybe I'll use Procreate for that and then just import it in.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, just imagine that my workflow is very similar to that. Like I do all my backgrounds in Procreate, and then even like all the rough character designs and stuff. But then I bring in the backgrounds into Flash. You know what I mean? I can't wait for them to go back to Flash.
You mean the name Flash?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
I know.
Have there been any Adobe teases at an Animate, like a mobile Animate? Do you guys know?
Oh,
I haven't
think
seen
about that.
anything. I haven't seen anything. That's why I'm hopeful that this whole, because they have to rewrite a lot, if not all of their stuff now that Apple's going back to their own processors. So I'm hoping that they do that. And if the case is that you can, if you can run desktop applications on the iPad and vice versa, then I'm not leaving the Adobe ecosystem. It's just
Well,
not.
why would you have to rewrite the whole thing? Be no different if AMD came out with a new processor. You don't have to
the
rewrite
code,
the whole thing.
the
To run on
code, the code base is different. When you're programming, so up to now, well, before they switched to not Windows, Intel based processors. So the Intel based processors process the information that is being written in a certain way. But then now that Apple is stepping away from the Intel processors, you have to write code in a specific way for the processor to understand it. Right?
Okay.
And so there's a lot of benefits to what Apple is doing. You know, Apple is a control freak, and so they want things done a certain way. And then if you don't do
Right.
it, what they end up doing is taking their engineers and they figure it out. So what they're finding out is that because Apple is doing the processor, the computer, and even the graphic processor, that it's getting way more efficient. So things are running way faster. Like even for example, the iPads have, you know, for years everyone's been saying, man, these processors in the iPads, you have way more processor than you need in the iPad. Well, this first version of the laptops that Apple is coming out with has the same processor as the iPad. Now imagine this. The iPad itself has no fans, no nothing. So you can take a 4K video or even 8K video and run it on an iPad with little to no drama. Put that very same video on your desktop computer and it's going to chug. So yeah,
That's counterintuitive. I would feel like it'd work better since it has the support of all the extra hardware.
yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is a Mac specific thing then.
Yeah, Mac specific, yeah. Yeah, like I think people are getting tired of Intel because Intel has been dragging their feet on a lot of things. And then you know how Apple does. Apple's just like, whatever. We're going to go ahead and let this agreement run out and we're going to do our own thing. And it's genius because they have these processors in the iPads that they've been testing on millions of people, millions of devices. So they've been figuring it out. And now that they have it figured out, they're like, all right, cool, let's move to the desktop. So
I'll be very interested to see how these new benchmarks happen and stuff like that on these things. You know?
yeah. And like Adobe already has a version of Photoshop that is running on the new processors.
Oh wow.
And the cool thing is too, like if you guys want to play around with developing anything, if you have a Mac, get Xcode and develop something, and it's just like I believe it's just as simple as if you just check a check mark, you can tell it to run on the desktop.
Oh
So,
really?
Yeah. So it's the next 6 months are going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Things are already getting really interesting. Here's a rough animator, Jack. I don't know if you've played with that yet, but
No, I haven't yet.
the interface has all kinds of stuff all over the place, but
Reminds me
It's
of Flash a
pretty-
little bit.
Hmm?
Reminds me of Flash a little bit.
It
Yeah,
it
a
does
little bit.
feel a little bit like that, and
They're
the
like
interface
floating.
it's like a no frills interface, but you do
Right.
have a lot of everything you need right at your fingertips.
uh, hey Dave, have you played with Flip-A-Clip yet?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a test I did of a frog eating a fly. It's probably like right before the new year if you're looking through the timeline of my.
Nice,
Look
nice.
a little
And,
scared buddy. Oh, so
yeah.
cute.
And that's the thing is like so Rough Animator ever since I started using it, it would let you self color line work, so you can see like the pink blanket line and things like that in there. And so Calipec just changed their app so that it supports that too. This was also
Nice.
in Calipeg too. Just testing out one of their brushes.
Yeah. I do like their brushes too.
hmm I do think, I mean, they're a little superior in the brush format, a little more Procreate looking, in the way
Yeah.
that their
Yeah.
interface feels.
Yeah.
But the brush work and the lack of lag in Rough Animator is also very good. But Flip-A-Clip had too much lag for me. The
Yeah.
brushes were too laggy.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Flip-A-Clip is fun if you are like it's wonderful for beginners. Like the interface is extremely clean and it's very easy to learn and you can start getting things done. But
Mm-hmm.
Once you do like your first 2 or 3 animations and flip a clip, it's time to move on. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited to start talking to these guys about Calipeg, because their brushes were amazing. Just and they have artists actually giving input on how to deliver something that's functional.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about Rough Animator. I do like it, but their interface just seems to be like
Rough.
you have to. It's like a programmer.
It's not bad.
It's like a programmer did it. Like it does
Yeah.
make sense.
It's just straightforward. Yeah, it's not as.
Yeah.
And he does also take in input. You know, he's open for input for other features.
Oh, okay.
And very respectful. You got to respect the guy who makes his own animation program just because there wasn't one good enough on the market.
Oh, I know.
Oh
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should reach out to him too, and then do
you
like a Sharks and Jets. Rough
Yeah.
Animator against Calipeg. See who.
Don't tell
enter.
each party that the other one's going to be on the show.
Yeah, don't tell them they're gonna be on. All right, and we're here.
I do think if you were to do the pros and cons of both right now, though, it would be close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a close call.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I just for some reason Calipeg holds my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's your first love.
I'm just looking through Dave's.
This one's Rough Animator as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and the reason there's so many watercolors is because weekly there's a theme that I try to keep up on. So,
Oh, cool.
you know, just get away from the screen for a little while and
Yeah.
you know, do a little painting, get a little zen about it.
Let's talk about that, because I know that there's been a lot of people that have been struggling with. They've been struggling with current events and being creative. I have a lot of friends that do that, and I'm guilty of it too. Just kind of like, man, the world is just heavy right now. How can I draw? Like, I don't want to. What are some of the things that all of you guys do to help push through that feeling?
Like, turn off the news. Step one.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
no, I think I've been binge watching a lot of comedies. You know, it's kind of like you could just get into that
Yeah.
mode. It's not like I don't watch the news, but
Right.
half hour, get the gist. You know.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Now that you say that, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing this. But it's funny now that you say that, because for me, I'll do this. I'll turn on, or I'll open a browser window and I go to YouTube and I just read the titles of, all the news outlets. I get CNN, I get Fox, I get a lot of the underground news things, and I just read all the titles and I know what's going on, and I go and I watch, Peter McKinnon or.
There you go.
Yeah. I know Jack got into pottery. He got a.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's true. I had been into it a long time ago, but this just seemed like a good opportunity to get back into some stuff and break away from the screens, because I don't know. I'm sure I don't sit at my computer any more than I did when I was working in an office, but it feels like it, man. It feels like I'm glued in one spot. I never leave the room. All my meetings are in the same monitor and the same webcam.
Yeah, that gets tiring.
Right there
very,
with
very
you.
much. Yeah. So this is my first time really working from home. Like, I've always worked in a studio, and you guys, obviously there's the benefits of the ease of travel and all that stuff, but I do really miss that person-to-person contact.
Yes.
At work we do a lot of like stuff together, and we're just a group together. Getting excited to just talk to everybody else about what they're working on and all that stuff, and we can still do that, but it just isn't the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like,
Right.
I'm assuming you love what you do. You still have a smile on your face, and you have yet to say one bad word. And we've talked about your career for about an hour and 15 minutes now. But I could imagine it being somewhat frustrating to have to work from home when you have a job that you love and a team that's just full of amazing guys or people. It's got to be a little rough to just be like, I just want to go to work.
Yeah, well,
Right.
we are starting to go in a little bit because we have to check the games on their on source cabinets and everything. So starting to get into the mode of going in every week. So it's like you can get in and get your work done there for a day, and then the rest of the time you're spending at home to keep as much time. So it's slowly getting to something. Nobody's gotten sick from these, the way that we're going about doing it so far in the last few months.
That's good.
But I think at the end of the day, you just know that you're doing the right thing by staying home and not being part of the problem, and not taking that risk of even if you're infected, it might get to somebody else. And
Right. Right. It's just a really weird time, man. I can't wait for nature to figure this out.
What? Wait, what?
That is
What does
true.
that mean?
Nature is
Yeah.
trying to do what it does right now. Yeah.
Yeah, nature's the reason why it's happening.
It's just kind of like, okay, you guys see if you can deal with this, and like if you can't, no skin off my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Nature.
For some reason, I just have a weird feeling that nature is tired of having humans on her, and
I agree with you.
You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with you. Like the world is built to, thrive on its own way, and it's doing what it needs to do right now.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you got to look at that for what it is. Like, wow, we're really fortunate to be here,
Right.
given those realities, right?
Right. And for me, like, I can't lie. I'm not complaining because I'm actually thriving in this chaotic economy, if you will.
Pandemic world.
Yeah. Like, you mean to tell me that I get to work from home and no one's going to bother me? No one's going to... Man, I've been getting so much work done.
Yeah, there are pluses for sure. And I do think you're going to see, like, not just for our business, but many businesses starting to turn into very, more flexible work from home options at the very least.
Yeah, I'm seeing it with even new opportunities that I see other people looking at in like job listings, stuff like that. The whole notion of being remote is a total thing now. So you can pretty much like work anywhere, and then like for whatever foreseeable future, don't necessarily mean you have to move anywhere anytime soon yet, or for some companies ever really, if you based on these infrastructures that these companies have built up. Places like Facebook and Amazon and Google and a couple of the game studios and stuff like that, and across the country, and they figured out how they can do this now, and they just need the workforce, so they'll make it work. And maybe once all this stuff gets resolved, then they said we'll talk about what that means in terms of moving and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I think I'm with Jack. I've been staying off the news as much, because my personality, I can like binge on that type of deal, just to try to learn everything about what's going on.
It's true.
And two, I've been getting into a lot more in the off time since I'm in this room so much. I've been doing more, still been on the computer, but just doing different things. I've been into a lot more music and stuff lately and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Learning Ableton and stuff like that, and making beats and doing stuff like that, and trying not to spend too much money on gear, and stuff like that. But it's been great. This is okay though. This is Father's Day gift though. So you see,
that's good. You tickle them keys. You tickle them keys.
But it's been good. And then so I've been reconnecting, not reconnecting, but like connecting with my uncle who has a nice studio and stuff like that. So that's been nice. Like on the computer, we're still doing something totally different. Reading about chord progressions and stuff that's like totally different. And then when you go back to do some of the other digital work, you're like, you feel like you're a little bit refreshed, or you feel like you've done something different and go to bed at a decent time, or try to go to bed at what Charlie considers a decent time. earlier than normal, so I'm not up till 3 a.m.
You know what? You need a leather strap for that keyboard so you can get out on your electric skateboard and be like,
you know what?
You know how much money he would make doing that?
Oh yeah. Not only would you be able to work while on the move, you totally would be getting people throwing money at you for tips. You'd be.
You don't know how many people yelled at me out their car window when I first had that thing when they didn't know what it was. Hey, how you doing that? How you doing it? Hey, you're coming off the
magic.
Yeah. Do not bump me.
You need your Harry Potter scarf so you can just be like magic.
My electric skateboard died, man, and then the company died. So I can't get another. Dude, the electric skateboard market is pretty much dead.
Hey, do you guys see that?
China messed it up for everybody. Like they started producing too many, so like mine was inboard, that went under because everybody started jumping on the bandwagon of the scooter, and then after the scooter came out, everybody thought, oh, I can get the municipal, bag, and like start to get the contracts with all the cities to be like, the new transportation other than, public transportation.
Yeah.
So then that went under. So then they went to go like develop that, and that went under. Or is this too many? Because you had everybody from Facebook to Uber to everybody making a scooter to try to get that kind of government contract. And then Boosted Board, which was the other big competitor. You guys know about Boosted Board. You got YouTubers like Casey Neistat and all these other guys that are pushing the Boosted Board.
Yeah.
They came out with a scooter. They had all their Boosted Boards. They came out with mini boards. It was nice. I was about to buy me one. And that went under like a couple months ago because when COVID came around, they were like, COVID's just like, none of you guys will be able to survive this. All the struggling stuff they're trying to do. And so
and even Segway is going out of business.
Yeah, like it just, I think what's booming right now is still like electric bikes. That's still a thing, all the like electric bicycle type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like I've been on my regular like bamboo longboard, like been doing that. That's been another thing, get out the house and go do some laps around the neighborhood and sweat for a change. Yeah. Man, Jack might be onto something.
I'm telling you.
Maybe we need to go find an old school guitar.
You might make more money doing that.
Man, I might do a video just for Jack. It might kill him though with laughter, but it's come out.
I'm ready.
Pushing. But that's the way I've been dealing with.
I wanted to talk about real quick. How excited are we that? And I know this is going to sound bad, so I apologize in advance, but you guys know me. We ripped the Band-Aid off, right? So COVID hits. We're nearing 150,000 Americans losing their lives to COVID. But yet everyone, like the entertainment industry, is turning to 2D animation. They're kind of stepping away from live action for now. And they're moving everything to 2D animation. You guys notice that? Just me?
Maybe.
Well, those studios are still able to produce, right? I've heard that that's not an issue for them. Uh-huh.
I've seen a lot of them moving to virtual production, but I think Netflix and although other ones, there is a big boom with the animated features and stuff. Maybe there's more stuff getting green light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how much can we really watch? Like, how many
Right.
animated shows can you consume? I guess. Yeah.
How many checks can they write and have us
Yeah.
continue to work on that stuff?
I mean, yeah, no doubt it's all good for animators and artists and, you know, people getting into the industry. You know, it's never been better for them.
Yeah, right.
And more people can actually work now. It's remote.
Yeah.
Too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I even saw Netflix. I'm on an email list that like has a bunch of different VFX 3D guys. It's called 3D Pro. It's a cool email list. And there was a thread on one of the days this week about Netflix starting making a pipeline system, like a cloud system, where like where studios might have to start using their like pipeline in order to do like films and features for them. So like once again, I'll look it up so I can tell you exactly what it is. But like they're developing like a full cloud-based pipeline. Think of like, if you guys have known when we talked about in the past, Nimble Creative, Nimble Collective. They got bought out by AWS last year. So I think now their like whole system that they had developed
doesn't ruin them.
Yeah, their whole system in the cloud where they're able to use Blender through your web page and all that stuff, through a web page and stuff like that. So think of a system like that where it allows animators, artists, whoever to use, programs that are on a server somewhere. Netflix was coming up with the same type of pipeline for feature films and animations and stuff like that to be able to use their system. But then there was a good talk about what does that mean for studios and stuff like that you have to conform to that pipeline in order to work with them. Will it be like that? Will it be different?
Are they trying to get into another business? Is that what you're saying?
Or it's added on to their business, right?
Not
of a system.
abandon the
But
movie,
if all you that's kind of weird. Like you're just delivering videos or films or like what does it matter? That's bizarre.
Yeah, let me get the full thing so I can read. I'll read it to you guys. But it was so it was weird. It was interesting because I was reading. I was like, oh wow, they're controlling the pipeline. Wouldn't they just want the film at the end of the thing? Why would it matter? Because I think Netflix is producing their own.
Yeah.
So maybe it's for that.
Maybe they just want control of the database. Like everything that's produced is filtering in there, so they don't even have to get it any other way. It's just auto stored or something.
I know that they're pushing an ungodly amount of money towards 2D animation.
Yeah, they have an entire giant animation division. It's not just 2D, but it's definitely heavily weighted to 2D. Yeah.
Like F is for Family and stuff like that. There's a lot of.
They've got like 12
BoJack Horseman,
14 shows in production right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think BoJack's in its last season or just finished or something, but they must know that people want more of that content.
There it is.
Why else would they grow it?
Well, that's the crazy thing about Netflix is they have all the numbers up, the watch data, right? Like, even the big networks have never really had as clean of access as they have had because, it's always via phone calls or surveys or all that garbage. And now it's like Netflix has the most comprehensive data about like what people watch, what their watch habits are. If you watch this, what you're likely to watch, like. And the thing is, they don't share that information with anybody. Like even us as a provider, DreamWorks, we don't even know who watches our shows. Like they don't give us that information. They give you a very, very limited, info about it.
Well,
it's crazy.
You'll find out at Comic-Con. You'll go to Comic-Con.
Well, there's that. But that's also filtered through those that go to Comic-Con.
That's true. You have to have a ticket to,
So because, it doesn't account for. So I worked on this show called Spirit, which was like horses for 7-year-old girls. Well, not just 7-year-old, for everybody, clearly, because like within the first month of it being released,
Yeah.
One of our favorite that we actually printed it out and put it on the wall. It was this guy on Twitter, this like ripped bodybuilder with like biceps, just like, like steroid Ripley types. And he had this tweet that said, "Watching this show called Spirit. I guess it's for girls, but I don't give a
fuck." He loved it, huh?
He found it. Yep.
So Comic-Con doesn't account for those types.
That's true.
But let's walk through that whole process. If you're Netflix and you are honestly, like, financially speaking, Netflix, it's a miracle that they're still around, because from what I understand, they're hemorrhaging cash. So
that's
if you're trying to optimize production, so now not only are you going to have the numbers of people watching, but you're going to be able to optimize the process of which your product is being made, right?
Yeah.
So you have the entire pipeline from idea to delivery and people watching.
Yeah. I sent you guys that link too, so you guys.
I'm going to let you talk right now, Charlie. I was just trying to figure out
it's good.
Why pushing all this money into creating your content. Maybe they're trying to figure out, okay, well, this is how much, and this is if
maybe it's licensing it. Yeah, licensing it. Like they're creating their own IPs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine that.
Yep.
That's the biggest part.
But not just that. Like if let's say I'm Netflix and I contract Dave to do a show, but you have to work on my pipeline. Now I can see how much hard drive space you need, how much bandwidth you need, how much time you need. Like, you know what I mean?
They're gonna like Amazon the whole thing till it's like right down to the penny.
Yeah. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We might be talking about the devil right now.
That was on my group. That was the sentiment. They were like, "Wait a minute! If they control, like, what does that mean as it gets going? You know, what does that mean for like being able to like, create with them?"
And when they care about the bottom line, and then it's all subcontracted eventually, also.
Yeah.
And what that means,
Yeah.
Because you could be anywhere doing animation.
and it's also a way for them to recoup any loss they have made on a purchase. Because if they're purchasing a property, but then they were paid, their product was paid to use to make that product that they're then buying, it sort of is like an offset in their costs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
because they're investing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Digital Arts from IDG, digitalartsonline.co.uk. That's the website. We'll post it, or Carlos will post it for you guys. But this was posted on July 20th. Netflix's tech blog. So it says a lot of your favorite Netflix shows utilize great VFX, and now a desktop as a service platform from the streaming Titan allows creatives to collaborate on visual effects work. Announced on Netflix tech blog today, NetFX, which is described as a cloud-based platform that will make it easier for vendors, artists, and creators to connect and collaborate on VFX for Netflix titles.
Mm.
The
so
software
they figured out the VFX problem.
Yeah, right? Netflix is the savior. It says the software will provide a virtual workstation, integrated storage, and full access to allow rendering in a connected environment, making the creation of complex creatures like the Demogorgon to object and to object and background removal much easier between teams.
I mean, a lot of people say things like that just because it sounds good,
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The announcement makes sense considering both the global range of Netflix partners and increasing need for remote work is in various industries. A beta version of NetFX platform is currently in use in Canada, of course, with Netflix partners like Frontier VFX, and and by early 2021 will be available for Mumbai creatives, with a wider rollout expected later next year. So,
Okay.
net effects.
So for those of us that don't know what the hell you just said, huh?
It sounds like they're connecting their own thing where artists will go to this one hub.
Yeah.
And they'll all be there together.
Yeah.
Creating together.
It's just like we talked about with Amazon or any of those other cloud-based gaming things where you don't need a Xbox or a PlayStation, if you want to put it in those terms, and you can log into a website and be able to play whatever game you want, because your actual console that you're connected to is on a server somewhere. Fast forward, you can do the same thing when we're talking about for pipeline with 3D or with 2D. Imagine you logging into Photoshop or logging into Calipeg or whatever through a web page, and you do all your animating there. We had DaCosta on years back when he worked with Nimble Creative. That whole platform, all his artists and people that were working on his little show that he was working on were running Blender inside of a web browser. So you can run Blender literally if you watch the keynote at the Blender conference last year, or whenever Nimble Creative did it, you can literally run Blender. They had their Nuke artist literally running Nuke on an iPad because she was at her mom's house and she did a section of the final cut on an iPad because it's just connecting through a web browser.
Amazing.
So Netflix made their own version where if Jack needed to animate something in Maya, he just connects to a service through a web page and then makes everything he needs to make for Spirit by himself, one-man show. You know, the new version.
I see the benefit to this, but I also see a lot of freaking potholes.
Right.
I have a theory.
You know?
Hang on.
Do we have to strap in for this one?
Yeah, that's your theory.
Yes. Hang on, I'm gonna go.
Epic pause.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. Okay, so what if?
Just say it.
I'm trying to formulate it in my brain.
I
So
think it
what
needs more
if?
build-up.
What if? No, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. What if all of this is a ploy? Right. We started off the show talking about Google images, creating images for you. All you have to do is ask, right?
Right, okay.
You move that over to what we just got done talking about here, where Netflix is controlling from beginning to end.
Yeah.
What if their servers are full of AI learning how to build scenes and everything, and all you have to do is get some of these suits that don't care about us. Let's be real. I got in an argument with one just 4 days ago.
They love each and every one of us.
So then all they have to do is talk to a computer and say, okay, give me an 8-year-old little boy with the fantasy rabbit or a fantasy gerbil that's doing pull-ups, right? So now all you have to do is describe what you want, and then this pipeline then creates it. Now you don't have to pay artists. Now you don't have to do anything. You just tell the computer, give me this.
And the robo writer creates all the plot and can pull from existing stories.
How are you?
Exactly.
How are you poking holes in my theory already?
Yeah.
Can we let it breathe a little bit? Dave's like, no, you're way out of here.
To me, I think, and what Jack was alluded to there, I can see a lot of loopholes with this thing and like potholes and stuff like that. But like on the other side of it, it's like the notion of like working on stuff at work and they own everything that you're working on at work. It seems like now they're just finding a way where you can't be at a physical place, but they want to still find ways of being able to own the workstation that you're working on, meaning own everything that you make on that workstation. You know, it's just now a remote version of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a benefit to it. security issues. I mean, that's crazy. Can you like? I can just log in wherever. Like, come on, Marvel's not going to allow me to log in from my grandma's house. Like,
Right.
Or Kinko's. You know?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, how would that work? Yeah, you have to have a sanctioned
Right.
computer. You can only get access to that webpage through your sanctioned computer at your house. I mean, they have to think of something now. Like, how do you even make a Marvel thing at this point?
well, they're not.
Based on how the pandemic stuff is going. Because they're like, I've heard some crazy, like, lock and key stories about even when companies here in Chicago that are working on title sequences back in the day, in terms of end title credits and stuff, and beginning title credits for what they wanted from Marvel. Yeah, and how that studio had to be on lock and key, you know, in terms of like, and that's just the title credits, you know, you know. So you make a great point there, Jack.
Maybe at one point they'll just say, "Does it matter? Just let people talk about what we're making, and it's just good buzz for it when it finally comes out."
A leak is press, and all press is good, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought that was interesting.
Don't you guys avoid information when you know it's something that you want to see, where you purposefully try to avoid hearing anything about it?
I did it with every Marvel movie that came out. Yeah. I was like, not watching this, not going to do it.
So we just come into a culture of knowing to avoid that type of content, you know, those sites or whatever it might be where you're going to get it leaked to you. So we just preserve our own entertainment, you know, experience.
You want the authentic, like, surprise experience when you sit in the movie theater. It's nothing better than that's why I do miss movie theaters. I ain't even gonna lie, because I was a big movie person. I was the person that's like, people talk about behind me, I will turn around and be like, nope, not today, Satan. You know, and like, be ready. You totally catch that. Be totally like ready to go, not knowing anything about. I don't want to go watch the first minutes of anything. I don't want to watch the first 5 minutes of anything. I want to watch it in the theater with 100 speakers around me. The Dolby theaters are awesome. I hope they survive this. You know, and that's one of the things I miss the most.
That's a really good point too. Like, are movie theaters going to make it through this?
I don't know.
There's a whole bunch of speculative articles that says a lot of them are going to close down.
Yeah, they were supposed to start back up, and then like around now, one was supposed to be like early August, like mid-August. You know, like I got an email from AMC. I don't read emails from AMC, but I read that one. And I said, "We're open."
AMC sent you a picture that said, "Wish you were here."
And then all of a sudden, like, that was before the surge, and the next thing you know, I don't know, they've been quiet again.
So they were open 2 weeks for us, and I went and saw them. Yeah, I saw the classic movies. I saw 3 of them actually, and while they were there, mainly for the fear that I would never be able to go again. Right. It was just like, in the worst case scenario, I'm going to get the most movie going I can get.
I heard drive-thrus are really big right now. Yeah. All the drive-thru theaters. Yeah. Maybe you make new, like that's a iconic Americana thing that needs to be brought into 2020. Give me a really cool drive-thru like theater.
Yeah, but you know what brought those down, right? We'll just say the drug and sex industry brought those down.
Yeah.
In some places in Chicago, a little gang banging activity, you know. Like, that's what brought that stuff down.
Yeah.
I wish they would come back, though. I wish people would learn how to act.
I see a lot of them come back. I've seen a lot of like plans in like Europe, the people formulating like drive-in, or not even drive-in, but like open form movie theaters on like the water and stuff like that. I've read a bunch of articles on a bunch of architectural type sites and stuff like that, where they're thinking of different things for some of these waterway areas and stuff like that, where they'll just do that, where everybody's on their own individual boats. There's a snack boat that goes in between. You know, it's just like crazy things people are going to actually try.
That sounds fun, though. Interesting. It's a hard way to see a movie, but I guess it could work.
How trash would it be to go to a drive-in to watch a 3D movie?
Do you mean like a 3D like lenses or 3D?
Yeah, like 3D glasses, and you're sitting there in your car. Your windows are fogging up. Like
So you gotta have that. That's when you gotta have the hatchback, and you just like reverse, open the back up.
That's true. You see,
Just sit, put the kids in the back like they used to do, and then like have them lay down and watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Get your little lawn chair. Be like a little tailgating. You know, people gonna want to start grilling.
it depends on where you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's some folks they don't care. They'll bust out a grill, grill you up a nice little hot dog, and
right? You'll be like, "Yo, can I pay you for that?"
I know them people.
Kind of good.
I know them people. They will hit you with some potato salad in a hurry. Why am I going to pay $15 for a hot dog? Get out of here. So Dave says companies will always want individual style to suit a project. Wouldn't everything start looking the same?
Some people say it does now.
Yeah.
I mean,
we had an animator on last time, you know, that like, what's the guy's name?
AMB animation. Yeah.
Yeah. Like where like he basically lumped everything in from Adventure Time to like
Arshad,
whatever's out right now in one big same basket. And outside of the classical animations from the 90s, he says everything looks the same. So like there's some people that think that now, or even the oversimplified animation that's out that everybody loves, you know?
Yeah. Dave, what's your stance? What's your stance on? I'm just gonna ask. What's your stance on, say, like puppet rigged animation versus like hand drawn animation?
Oh well, hand drawn all the way for me, because that's the fun of the. It's like putting a puzzle together and drawing it out. Now, if you're doing stuff in Animate, you're going to make the most of it and kind of plan your scene out so you can get your easy in betweening, making smart decisions so that your drawing swaps work well, and minimize the amount of real hard labor that you've got to do.
Yeah.
But I don't really call it quite puppet like After Effects work necessarily.
Yeah.
But you see if you get too leaning on that too much, you basically just get the same thing where I can kind of just raise the arm and wave and stuff, and you can make it look really nice for what it is.
Yeah.
But probably good for storytelling if you have long form stories and you're not going to have a lot of animation going on. It's more about the characters talking to each other. But if you want to just have fun with it and you really want to animate something, then I would definitely go with the hand drawn work.
Yeah. And I think that's what I really like about dealing in Flash. Forget it. You know what I'm talking about.
Animate.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it, because it's one of my things. Like I hate saying, when you animate and animate. God, it's so dumb.
It's
anyway,
dumb.
When you're animating and when you're animating and animate.
I Google anything for it, it's impossible to find stuff because you have to say Adobe Animate or
Yeah.
Animate CC.
Yeah.
Crap, that's your pipeline. That's your pipeline. Adobe Animate.
Yeah. And I'm getting to the point now where, like the whole puppet animation or symbol animation is fine, but I'm getting to the point where I need to do exactly what you said. You like if your arm is swinging like this, you might as well just swing it using a motion tween. But like when you start going, that's the thing that I really like about Animate. It's that you can make it look very seamless. You can do a lot of the heavy lifting just by like moving symbols around, but you can very easily switch over to frame by frame.
If you don't have something, you can just draw it on the spot. Fill in between this bit or something brand new. Yeah. Or I don't have this hand shape. I'll draw it right on the spot and bring it in.
Oh. And even like I'll do symbol animation, and then if it doesn't quite line up right, you just cover it up.
Sure. Yeah, you can do fix. There's usually some layer.
Yeah. 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 So it's for me. I've gotten away from having to like always being under the gun, always being rushed. You know, because deadlines for me just kind of like weigh on me quite a bit, and I'm just like hauling, just trying to get things out. And now, I preach this all the time.
Man.
Oh no.
Okay, I think we're back.
Yeah, we might be good. People are still chatting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I always preach this where take your time and focus on making better art, and then the speed will come later, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you
or just have fun with it, really. I mean, the thing is,
Right.
just draw something,
Yeah.
and you will. I mean, obviously, it takes a long time. And when I got out of college, like I really had no great established style at all. I was feeding off of things like John Kay work kind of, and Tim Burton stuff, and really weird angular things. And the way I draw now versus then, it's like it just kind of got like trained out of me for the most part. Although there's still a little hint of it in everything I do, but
yeah.
And I fall by the there's work I should spend more time with planning and all that stuff, but I do think a lot of the work I do now is I just want to work and do something, and I will learn a little something along the way. Yeah. Rather than like, oh, I want to do a really good job, so I'm going to put this off and I won't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In your career?
It's a good question.
And don't worry. Scientific Games doesn't watch this show.
Never know. Today might be the day. They're sitting up watching.
Right.
I guess I'd say, there's a good balance now because I do enjoy, this job, and I, see still doing it for a while, and then picking up other jobs. I do think it's interesting now, knowing how tough it was in the beginning stages of animation and how much work goes into it. And now seeing where it is getting more flexible, like you guys were just talking about, like working where you want to, picking up the jobs that you want to. So there does seem to be a little bit more like you can cherry pick if you want to do that, and kind of make, find the jobs that you want that are tailored to you more. So certainly I get more requests for people asking me to do things, and you can only kind of do so much. So it's like, thanks for reaching out, but I'm doing this and that right now. And always tell them you appreciate, no matter who it is, no matter how silly the request, you just never know. So it's just like, thanks for reaching out. Maybe one day, I can help you with that video or whatever. But
and you see that more now than ever, or even in the last year, 2 years or so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I think it's really just the people that are connecting to your style. I believe they will find you.
Don't waste your time. I can talk to Dave forever. Yeah, because like this 2D and Flash and stuff, like, bro, that's my fucking sweet spot.
It's that makes me want to talk to you, right?
Dave is like, just got creepy. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I've
cool.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
Cool. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because for some reason, the Ecamm Live thing is starting to act up crazy. So I don't know if it's my internet or Skype
Amazon.
or whatever. Yeah, Amazon heard us talking trash.
Simulate.
So hey, Dave, if people want to find you and find your work online, where can they do that?
If you just search Dave Pryor on Google, you'll most likely find one of my sites. Connect there, and you can find a link to anything. Instagram is where I'm mostly at and where I mostly communicate with people. But I have a Facebook page. I really don't update as much anymore. I've pretty much solidified onto an Instagram pipeline.
Perfect.
Because I like following people and I like commenting on people's work and encouraging people and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so if I want to grow that audience, it's really hard to keep jumping around to a Twitter or wherever else.
Right.
So I pretty much made my choice. And
Instagram,
that's right.
by the way.
It's a wise choice, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then obviously in the video description, we have links to your Instagram and even your, what is that, Linktree or whatever?
Yeah, Linktree is kind of cool because now on Instagram you can point people in various directions.
Yeah.
So, you've got a books for sale that you worked on or did some part on. It's like, so where you were stuck with just the one link before, which if you've got a well-established website, may be just fine, which I don't necessarily have. It's like I started with Blogspot and so there's that, and anything else we might have started up, like Tumblr is a good way. Like that. I don't remember the last time I've been on Tumblr. Unfortunately, it was good. It was good for a bit.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I know I have an account, and I always send all my Instagram stuff to Tumblr, but I might be killing it on Tumblr. I don't know.
I like, but when someone follows you on Tumblr, you get a little email. It's like, OMG, so and so's not following you.
Yeah,
you get nice formal information on your follow.
Every time I get one of those, I'm like, ooh, hey Tumblr, can you apologize to them that I just don't ever check Tumblr?
Yeah.
Hey Charlie, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
You can find me in a couple of different places. You can find me at my website, cargocollector.com/Charlie B. Williams. You can find me on my other portfolio site, artstation.com/CharlieBW3. You can find me on Twitter at CBW3. And then if you're checking out some of the stuff I like to pin and some of the things I like to look at, go over to pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. Check it out. Get in your life.
Yeah. Hey Jack, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
We're a musical show now. Sketchbook Jack mainly on Instagram, and at some point I'll have a website again. It's just not real high on my list.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work just to have it done.
Remember back in the day when it was like you had to, you don't have a website. Now I'm like,
I know.
Yeah.
I struggle with it, Jack, every day. I'm like, I should update this more.
Hey, I'm Carlos. You can find me at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. Go check out youtube.com/Coconut Justice. I got tons of tutorials. I got cartoons. I got videos. I got travel videos. I got all kinds of really cool stuff there. We learning, y'all. We learning. So, yeah, go check over there and subscribe over there. And if you're watching this show here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that little bell. Just like Shiloh and Dave and all those guys, they were talking about how good it felt to actually, it felt wonderful when they got the little alert that Sketch Zone is live. Sketch Zone.
Yeah.
Right? You want that feeling. You want that feeling in your life, right? It's a little better than when you start like following Charlie on Pinterest. It's a lot like that, but better. You see, get that in your life. So yeah, and you see, we love having live participants asking questions and stuff. Dave, it was very good to see you again. Congratulations again on the little baby girl. Shiloh, obviously, and Shiloh gave Dave Pryor a wonderful endorsement. He said way earlier in the show that he loves your work, which that's Shiloh, bro. Like,
much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you.
It's Shiloh. Like, that's shout out to Landon, Kitcha Cat, Who else did we
Roz?
see?
Roz?
Yeah, Sleepy Roz was there. There was a handful of other people. Tobias. Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 207 in the books.
In the books.
You guys, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us. And I'm not going to lie, it feels a little good when you guys say that you miss us. We were incredibly busy. All of us were incredibly busy. And I will be sharing a lot of my stories eventually when I can without getting cussed at. That's it for me, or that's it for all of us, you guys. Thank you again so much for hanging in there and watching the show. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys.